Hey guys, it's Business Power Hour Tech Edition. We were just we were just trying to go live for the last 10 minutes and I gave up. So now we're recording this on Zoom for you guys. So you're welcome. So we have a great Business Power Hour today. I'm excited for you guys to hear from our guests and get to know them a little bit. Why don't we go around? You guys just let them know who you are, what you do, and as we do on Power Hour, they all brought free gifts for you guys. So tell them about the free gifts you bought. Stephanie, you want to go first?
Yeah. So, hey everyone, my name is Steph Blake, and I am the founder and CEO of the Simple Business School and Simple Business Suite. My whole thing, if you can't tell, is simplification. I'm
We
all
love
about
a simple
helping.
business, right?
Exactly. And Simple Business Shop is launching this weekend too. So,
Ooh, I just launched the
Ooh.
shop too. Are you in Monica's thing?
I'm not, no.
Oh, okay. A bunch of people are in Monica's like group, so we were all doing shops, like biggie shops. That's awesome.
Oh, no. Yeah. So, like I said, my whole thing is helping online entrepreneurs simplify their businesses so they can work 20 hours per week or less.
Awesome.
Oh, and
Awesome.
my free workshop or my free gift is guess what? Simple Business Workshop. So you can come learn how to run a really simple and streamlined business in less than 20 hours a week. And this is not just like an average workshop, it's very in depth. There's a lot of examples, and I really break down the process for you.
I
So
hate that
we'll
we have
share
to
the link to that.
I hate that we have to tell people that now. I just sent an
I
email
know.
that did the same thing where I was like, it's an actual like good training. It's not like a pitching, like it's not a waste of time. I have to like tell everybody.
Yeah.
You're like, no, this is a
Yeah.
real thing, I promise.
You're literally creating an action plan
Yeah.
during this
So
workshop.
you guys get Stephanie's freebie and create your action plan. That sounds great.
It's amazing.
Yeah, let's go. You go next. Jan-
Okay, sorry. So I'm Liz Stapleton. I host the annual Blogger Breakthrough Summit, which is a summit that is broken down for being for beginners, intermediate, and advanced, so you're never overwhelmed by too much content because summits can get crazy. It
Mhm.
helps bloggers kind of save time, stress less, and earn more. I also run elizabethstapleton.com where I cover the legal side of running an online business. So super excited to be here and talk summits and collaborations because I've been doing them for years and years now. My next summit's the next Blogger Breakthrough Summit's actually the 6th year. So very
Nice.
excited. And if you just go to bloggerbreakthrough.com/everything, you'll see all the like freebies and stuff I have. I don't have a particular go get this one.
I think your summit was one of the first ones I spoke at because it was a while ago, I feel like. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I can't believe it's year 6 already.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I
have on
think
my
I
list. My assistant earlier was just like telling me, like, you got to record this presentation for Liz. It's due. And I was like, okay. So
You're gonna get an email
have you
about
on
that
my
later
to-do
today.
list. We were talking about
Get
you.
it done.
And then do you have a
Yeah,
free?
Liz summits are great. I've been
Yeah, they
speaking it
are.
for like 4 years at her summit, so they're awesome. She knows what she's doing.
Do you have a free
Super.
gift, Liz, or a freebie you want to pitch, or you just want them to go?
Um, Something in particular. I mean, I've got the blogging success planner, which again, everything is on my everything page. So bloggerbreakthrough.com/everything. You can find all the goodies I got going on there.
Okay, awesome. So you guys go check Liz's stuff out. And then Janita, you want to go?
Yes. Hi, my name is Yanita. I will spare you the difficulty of my surname. Just Yanita is fine.
Okay.
I'm a little bit of a multi-passionate ADHD entrepreneur. So, like all the things, I've got all the things going on. But really, my passion at the end of the day is that I help entrepreneurs build a sustainable online business. So I also love simplification. I literally have like this little thing always reminding me to simplify because we tend to overcomplicate things in business. But I'm very much into sustainability as well because you want to kind of end up, you want to start like you want to end up. So I'm all about sustainability. And yeah, I've also done the bundles and the summits and all of the things, and I just love collaboration
Yeah.
throughout. I just love collaboration. So, yeah, while we're speaking about sustainability, I find that a lot of people wait too long to create their email list. So, my gift to you today would be like this lead magnet starter kit, where you can just
Ooh.
really get those lead magnets started and bring a little bit of that email list in to your business because it's like just one of the most valuable things in your business. So yeah,
That's
that's it for
awesome.
me.
I have to ask you guys, like one of the things that people ask me all the time is they're like, well, that's great for you that you collaborate all the time, but like you have a big email list and I'm just starting and like how am I supposed to find collaboration? So what kind of advice do you have for somebody that might be listening who's like new, they've never collaborated before, and you're like, how to collaborate? What would you guys tell them?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go. I
Yeah,
mean,
y'all just
Okay.
jump
there's,
in. It's all good.
yeah.
I'm not gonna call on
Like
you like
manners.
school.
Look at the manners on us waiting for each
We,
other.
for everybody listening, we send out this email to the speakers. I don't know if you guys got it, but it's like share the mic and don't talk over each other. And then we get them on here and everybody's like real scared to talk.
Oh, I am never scared to talk, first of all. I will
No,
talk all
no,
the
no,
time.
that's
You're gonna have to shut me up.
Okay,
yeah.
so what kind of
But
advice would you guys have for somebody that's like, I want to collaborate, I don't know where to start, I don't know even how to do this?
yeah, I mean, there's so many communities out there that you can join right now, and they're all free communities. And people are constantly posting saying,
Yep.
I'm hosting this bundle, I'm hosting this summit,
Yep.
come apply. There's free Facebook groups all over the place. Like there are so many different resources, and I'm sure that will you guys link to that
Yeah, we can
so
link to that.
they can find them?
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different communities available. That's the easiest way to get started. Go into an existing community and just apply. Apply
Yeah.
for as many different things that you can see. And that's
Yeah.
really the fastest way to grow your list.
Yeah, find this stuff like in your niche too. Like if you can find
Yeah.
Right.
events like in your niche, like go snoop it. I'm always like snooping around the internet. I'm like, I want to know what everybody's up to. Well, you don't know what everybody's up to in your niche. You gotta be like, you want to start snooping on them and see like where are they speaking at? What kind of events do they do? And for some of you guys, like there's probably not going to be a ton of events depending on your niche. So you'll find like the couple, or if you have a broader niche, you'll probably find a bunch. What about you, Liz?
Or be the one to host it.
Yeah, that's a good
Mhm.
one. Say more,
Yep.
Liz. Say more. Tell us more.
Create the
Uh,
door.
so so yeah, be the one to host it. And if you're looking for speakers, especially that first year where it's not established and stuff, like you got a cold pitch. It's just the way it is. Try to make every pitch personal. Like if you're pitching someone whose course you've taken or who you've seen do a workshop, like mention that because that's a connection, whether or not they know you from it. The fact that you can speak to it says a lot. My very first time running the Blog Breakthrough Summit, I managed to get a best-selling author that I 100% expected a no from. And we ended up having to record like 2 days before the summit went live. It was very stressful. But like I never ever thought they'd say yes. And they did. So like just reach out. You never know. Like the worst they're gonna do is say no.
Yes.
Or they're not going to answer, and then you follow up a couple of times until you get the definite yes or no. But like,
Yeah. What I did too before I had the capacity to do like host a summit or host an event, like I used to just invite people to come. I said it was the Faith Mariah morning show, but it was just a live stream on my Instagram. Like, and I would like pitch them like, want to come on the Faith Mariah morning show? And I just made it sound like a whole thing. And I had a cute graphic in Canva, and we just went live on my Instagram account.
Oh, it's
And I
amazing.
actually met a lot of people doing that. Like I just every week would try to find someone to go live on my Instagram account. So if you can't do a whole summit, like collaborations, I think obviously we all love like bundles and summits and events and stuff, and that's awesome. But there's
can
lots
I
of like little collabs you guys can do too.
can I give a
Absolutely.
tip on trying to find someone's email?
Yeah.
Because you want to email them to pitch, right? Ideally.
Mhm.
So there's a couple different ways you could do it. First of all, there's free tools. There's one called hunter.io, which can help you track
Ooh, I
down
didn't know
based
that.
Yeah, I'm
based
also
on
like,
domain.
where's
I
the
gotta give that
pin?
to Kelsey.
And then the other way is look at their privacy policy because their privacy policy is required to have contact information. And some people just do contact forms, but a lot of people do email. And that's a great way to find it there.
That's how we find ours is
Yeah.
with that privacy policy.
Yeah.
And for everybody listening, put your freaking email on your website. Like
Yes.
people just don't have it. Like I guess, we don't do that much personal email stuff anymore, but if you have your email address on your website, there are people like me and Liz like trying to contact you, like on your
Mhm.
snooping
Mhm.
around on there.
Mhm.
And then what about
I
you,
think
Yanita?
also just like kind of to fill in with Liz as well is to just be brave. The thing is that it's so busy out there that it is difficult to stand out. So, and it is okay to just make those connections. And when you do show up in, a networking event type of thing or collaboration, just kind of be yourself, but also come with, I would say, like, bring value more than you bring the expectations. Because when you come with more value in mind and to collaborate more so than the expectations, those type of collaboration relationships kind of happen naturally, right? So, but I do like love the whole idea around like if you can't find ones to join, then do your own because there is most probably a gap there. In any way, and you will be surprised to find people. And also, I want to say that those of us that have been creating bundles and summits and that's been doing that, I mean, I can only speak for myself and a couple of others that I know, but we actually allocate a part of our events to the smaller voices and the smaller names and, you know, the newer voices to be able to help them rise. I specifically make sure that I kind of have like a quarter of my space for that because I want to help you. And that is what collaboration is about. So just, you know, it's not going to fall in your lap, but if you do a little digging, and like Stephanie said, there's a lot of places where you can find. It's very open.
I like what you were saying too
Yeah.
about like bring value instead of asking for things. So I get pitched for a lot of things, especially with the podcast, and a lot of the pitches we get are like, can I am so and so. I want to be on your podcast. And it's like,
Mm,
and to me, that's like you're emailing me asking me for a favor. I don't know you. Like, I'm not going to
yeah.
put you in front of my audience. Like, and we get them all the time. But if somebody emails me and they're like, hey, like, I've been listening to your podcast. I have a group of people and this is like what we're about. Even if it's not a big group, like my schedule right now is very busy. So please don't pitch me for any
Mhm.
more things. You guys, anytime I say something on the podcast, the team is like, did you say something? Like, we're getting a lot of emails. No, but if somebody pitches me and they're like, I've been watching your work or I did this event and I would love for you to come speak at my group or I would love for you to come speak at my Instagram. And like, even if it's a small audience, like, we're all trying to get our stuff out there and just try to get in front of new people. So even if you have a small audience, like offering to have people come, I think that's a really good way of pitching.
Yeah.
What tips do you guys have for getting people to collab, like for the actual pitch and reach out? You guys have any good, like, let's hear some hot tips about like what should they say, what should they not say? Like, what are your favorite kind of things to do when you're reaching out for people to collab with?
I
Yeah, I
think
mean, go ahead. Go ahead.
for me, I think just that it is important to be very much yourself and authentic when you are out there, because a lot of times, I mean, let's just be straight. I am not going to collab with someone that I feel like I value slash like in business or whatever it is. Like for me, that is a big thing. If I'm going to collab with you, it is my name as well, you know. And we build our brand and reputation. It takes a long time to really build that up. And so if you are out there and you are loud and proud with what your values are and what it is that you stand for, you are most likely in a better situation for somebody to perhaps send you that message. We all dream of that day where people start asking us instead of us asking people, right? So if it is that you want people to start asking you, just be there. You stand out. I know it's difficult, but it is. Just be yourself.
Yeah. What about you, Liz? Because I know you've been in pitching season because you pitched me recently. So
I
you have
did too.
tips of things you like, things you think people should say or not say.
Yeah, I mean it's about value, right? So so my pitch to my previous speakers is different from people who've never been part of the summit before. So I personalize in that sense, first of all. But if you've never spoken at my summit before, my pitch is like, hey, here's what the summit's about. Here's why I think you'd be a good fit. Here's something that makes my summit different from others and how we can really target to find the right audience for you to put your session in front of. And so I think it takes just a little bit of the approach of like, hey, I want to get your name out there. It's not just like I need speakers. So it's really it's showing the value you can provide with the, content you're creating, because the summit is just a lot of content. And showing kind of how it reverses and continue to provide that value. One of the reasons I have so many speakers come back or recommend other people speak is I think because of the value I provide them. I give them stats after the summit. I repurpose their session into a podcast episode later in the year that gets shared and gets them more visibility. like I'm constantly kind of reusing that little bit that they did to get their name out there more.
This is a very, very important thing, I think, what you just said, because I speak at a lot of things, and there are events we do where we're like, we're never working with that person again, because behind the scenes it's like chaotic, or like,
Mm.
it's not well organized, or they tell me one thing and they do the one, and like just, different things happen. The events are a ton of work, like we know that, and like mistakes happen, but there's just certain people that you can tell like really put a lot of effort and like really create a great experience. And we're like, oh yeah, like if they ask me, like I will definitely come back, right? And then other ones were kind of like, well, like, I sent all my people from my email list to their event and they didn't really promo my stuff and I didn't get any emails, or, and
Yeah.
I was promoting them and I don't feel like I got equal stuff. So I think it's important to think about not just like getting people one time, but then once you get them, how do you retain them and build a relationship?
Yes.
So then each event you do, it gets a little easier because people
Yeah.
start knowing you, and people talk too. So like if we do a good event, I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, like I just did Monica's event. That was great. And we're all like, oh my gosh, like we did Monica's event. It was amazing.
Mhm.
And so you want to have that reputation of like doing really great events. What about you, Stephanie?
Yeah, so my background's actually in PR. I did that in corporate
Oh,
for
wow. Okay. Tell
many
me
years.
all the thing. You have all the tips, all the insider tips.
Well, I mean, what Liz said was like on point. Like exactly. The biggest thing is making sure that they know what's in it for them, because people are busy, especially if you're reaching out to big names, like their schedules are already packed. So you just need to first let them know what they're getting out of it. Why should they set aside time, energy, effort to participate in this thing? And then also making sure that you're reaching out far in advance.
Yes.
Far in advance, because
Yeah.
whenever I get pitches for things and they're like, oh yeah, it's happening in 2 weeks, I was like, absolutely not. That is not. I will not be participating in anything happening in 2 weeks. There have been very rare exceptions where I will say yes to something just because I know it's a really great opportunity, but minimum, I need like 6 weeks notice, minimum.
Especially if you guys want
So
like bigger people with bigger businesses, like you have to plan everything so far out.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
a lot of times, like if people pitch really before 90 days of the event, a lot of times my calendar is full. So when I have your stuff
Mhm.
on there, we can plan around it. So that's a really good tip, is like make sure you're
Yes.
timely, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And then the other tip that I have is in that initial pitch, just keep it really short. Keep it really short, keep it simple. You do not need to put a book in there, because if anybody's like me and they have ADHD and they see a long email come through, I'm like, no, not reading it. But if you just give me like a snippet, I can quickly read that and then I can say yes or no. So that is also just going to really speed up the follow-up time too. So you're not going to have to go back and forth. You'll either get a yes or no much more quickly.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
actually, for my last pitch, because I have a summit now coming in January, so I literally just went through the pitching as well. And I did like a 2 to 3 minute like personalized video that I put in there as well. Um, Obviously, I put the rest of the information there too. It wasn't just in the video, but I actually got a lot of replies of the people that said yes, saying that this was amazing. Like, thank you
Mhm.
for this. Thank you for this. So it took me a while, but I mean, especially if you're thinking about it, summits, you only have a certain amount, it's not like hundreds of people. So put in that time and do that. It was enjoyable. I took a morning, I got it done, and I got a really good feedback from people saying that was amazing. But just make sure that if you are like me, that you like to go off in a tangent and you like to chat, just keep it like under 3 minutes, because people won't otherwise like. And I specifically said there that it's under 3 minutes. So it's like, okay, if I double speed this, it'll take me a minute and a half. It's fine. I have a minute and a half, right? So that worked very well for me as well, to
A
just
good
put like
tip.
that
Yeah.
personalized video in there.
I'd love to hear from you guys, like what kind of benefits has collaborating got your business? And like, have you gotten any cool opportunities, or what kind of results have you seen from it? Why do you like it? Why do you think it's worth doing? I'd love to hear like results you guys
Uh,
have personally gotten.
I mean, I think some it's obvious, it's list growth, it's revenue, but fun story. My very first guest post, like this is when I didn't even know that what I did was called a guest post. We're talking like 2015. That guest post ended up in that blogger's book.
That's awesome. So
Like, I
literally,
think that's such a fun story.
yeah.
Um,
What
That
else?
is a fun story. I mean, for me, it's the relationships I build with people. I see
Mhm.
that's really the biggest thing. So, because I have a podcast as well, and the relationships, the partnerships that I grow from people, and that is so much more powerful than like grabbing emails and putting them on your list, or like grabbing a couple $1,000s, tens of
It's
thousands,
also
whatever,
just
because it's
the
so much
the
more long
people that
term.
understand what you're doing, right, Steph? It's like
Right.
building those relationships because a lot of people, this online business world is so weird. And so, like, honestly, this is, I think, the second or third time I'm seeing Steph in a video call this week, which is awesome,
That's awesome.
but it's just like you get to like know people that get it. I think, yeah,
Yeah.
relationships is obviously
Yes,
Yeah,
key.
absolutely.
that's why we started doing this show too. So like this is a collab, right? Like we're all collabing
Mhm.
right now. But I was telling my team, I was like, there's so many awesome people that are in our bundles and in our stuff, and like I never get to talk to them. So I was like, how can we create something, right, where I can like get to know and connect with some of the awesome people we have in our community? And then we came up with the idea. We've been doing this show like about a year now. We've done a
Mhm.
bunch of different episodes, but it's been so awesome because I actually get to like talk to you guys on camera instead of just we're all in our emails and on our DMs and social media and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
you
and
need
I
Yeah,
what were
mean,
you
that's
gonna say?
no, it's just like it is definitely. It's not. It's a much deeper connection that you get to build, especially in like these type of. Obviously, people now immediately think Summit and Bundle. That's not the only collaborations that we are talking about here. I have met some of my dearest business besties that we've actually formed a self-made little mastermind and all of these type of things. That they become your sounding boards. They became, and you take joy in seeing their journey and how they grow as well. So it's not just about you. It becomes less of a lonely place. So it's not just about those, like making the money and the email subscribers and those. It's much deeper than that, where you get to actually get to know the people. And I feel like another important part of this is also to see behind the scenes that not everybody has got their shit together. Most people actually don't. So it's like to see those type of things and share the reality behind it as well. And it just takes that it's only me and my business and it's such a solo thing. Just it eliminates that and it becomes fun and it's shareable. It's like having colleagues,
Yeah.
right?
I
So
think I think networking is really an important part of like any business, right? And I think like brick and mortar and in-person businesses like understand this, like they go to networking events and they do things,
mm,
but I think sometimes we think like online business and we really kind of isolate ourselves, but the more people that know about you and what you do in your work and like what you're about and are familiar with you, the better for your business. And this is how we scaled my business completely. Like we haven't run any ads. I really don't get leads from social media. We're,
mm,
we've been doing over 200,000 in the last few years, all from just networking and doing events and
yeah.
stuff like that. So it can have, for me, it's had a huge impact. And like we're just now starting to do ads and like start scaling and stuff like that. What kind of
mhm.
tips do you guys have for, I would love to hear, do you guys have any ideas for like collaborations besides the summits and bundles, or have you done any like smaller collabs at all? Or you guys mostly just do the big ones? I'd love to hear like ideas for other things because I do think people think like collab, oh, it's a summit or
I mean, a collaboration is anything where there's multiple people involved and they're
Mhm.
supporting each other. So, like,
Yeah.
I've done in-person events, even like going to a conference, that could technically be considered like a collaboration in a sense. Like, you
Mhm.
could, if there's other people going, like, for example, I don't know, Kajabi. That just popped in the top of my head. Like,
everybody's at
Kajabi.
Kajabi live right now.
Right. There's the Kajabi conference, right? So like if you post in the group and saying like I'm going to the conference, who wants to meet up? Okay, there's like a little mini collaboration opportunity,
Yeah.
right? Or also like Liz and I are in a peer mastermind. So like that was a direct result of me hosting bundles and collaborating with other people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it can take any form that you want. Podcasts too, like
Podcasting
in
is great
person.
for networking.
It
Podcast, I always
is.
recommend people like I'm always like, don't do podcasts for like getting leads. I'm like, if you have a big audience, maybe for nurture, but the real benefit of a podcast is like the network and the connection, 100%,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think, for most
that's
people.
that's the sole reason that I have my podcast.
Yeah.
Like just to have conversations and meet people,
No, it,
honestly.
it really is a good way to network with people. Like I'm saying, because if you pitch yourself to be on their show, like the answer 99.9% is going to be no. But if you ask people to come on your show,
Yeah.
like that, you're much more likely to get a yes from people you would be surprised about that are bigger because everybody's always looking for platforms to get on. So
Yeah.
if you can offer that, people will take that up. I saw a really cool one one of my students did last year in the mastermind. She did a Freebie Friday. And so she had different people sign up every Friday to she was going to send their lead magnet to her list. And then she
Yeah.
had them send their lead, agree to send
Yes. Freebie swap.
hers to
Yeah.
their list, right? So it was
Yeah.
like a freebie
Yeah.
swap. And she
Yep.
did it one a week. So she did Freebie Friday for an entire year. That was all of her lead gen, right? So she didn't have to worry about doing social media or pitching for things. That was all she did to grow her audience. And then she did quarterly launches and she did really well with that. And so it can be, you can figure out
Yeah.
ways to leverage it to get subscribers too.
Yeah, I do
Mhm.
Freebie February every year. So every day I
Yeah.
send a free something.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so
Freebie
yeah.
February. You guys should borrow that.
We should,
Can you
yeah.
borrow that? I mean, you don't have a patent, do you?
Can we?
Wait, did you
I
say
think
freebies everywhere? That was my subject line of my email last week. That's actually really funny.
Yeah, no, Freebie February. So every day I send them something
Oh,
free.
freebie
So,
February.
yeah, so it's, it could be someone else's freebie that I know that I'm an affiliate for that leads
Uh-huh.
to a tripwire. It could be a free tool. It could be, because I don't have like, I mean, I probably do have 28 free things somewhere, but it just kind of it makes it really easy. And by the end of that month, like my audience is, they're opening every like it's great for my email engagement, my open rates, my, it just so I come off the summit, I go into that and it just builds momentum.
Mm-hmm. I think something, because I mean, the summit that I'm planning is called the Collab Fest. So it's all about collaboration. And a lot of the things that's come up there is things like, affiliates is obviously also a sense of collaboration as well. And it doesn't always have to be an expensive thing. People they think about like affiliates being like, it has to be this really expensive thing and, all of those things. And then also some interesting things that's come up is like book collaborations and collaborating on like courses and things like that. I know the logistics in that will be a little bit different, of course, but there are many ways to collaborate. Like
I've seen
anything.
I've seen a lot of people doing these like mini audio courses. I'm in one
Yeah.
with Kate Doster. It's by the time this is on the podcast, that event might be over. So you guys don't get too excited. But if you're listening and watching it, in real time when we post it, I'm in Kate Doster's like it's all treats, no tricks bundle, and she did a free like Black Friday mini course, and we all recorded like a mini module on audio, and then she's giving that podcast out. So you guys could do something like that for a collaboration, right? Like a mini course or an audio course. I think that could be a really cool idea. Do you guys have tips when people are applying? So we're always like pitching people and recruiting people. We're recruiting right now for the holiday abundance bundle. Shout out to anyone listening. I'm looking for B2C people for this bundle. So it's not business people. I'm looking for you, the DIYers, personal development. Bring me all your stuff. It's going to be an awesome bundle. So you guys should collab with me. Come collab with me in my bundle. But when people are applying for that, you guys have tips when you're applying or when you're looking at applications? Like what are the kind of deciding factors and things you're looking for?
Follow the instructions.
Read.
That was the first thing I was going to say. Read the page.
Read and follow the instructions.
Yes.
And
oh my goodness. This is so
only ask a question if it's not on the page. Read the page again. That's my biggest pet peeve is like there are things on our pages. We put everything on our pages, everything you need to know, and people don't read it. And that's just, I take that into account if anybody's listening and you're applying for our bundles.
Yeah.
I know. Kelsey's always like, somebody emailed me asking for the link, and it's literally in the email they're replying to.
Yep.
Like, so those are good tips for being a good.
I think I've only done that like once. And I was so sick that I didn't even like fully comprehend the email. And they were like, it was in the email. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I was like so sick though. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sick. Like, I'm just trying to quickly see what's going on.
I mean, it does happen.
So I feel for that. But generally speaking, if you're repeatedly emailing me asking questions that are on the page, it's pretty
There are
frustrating.
contributors that are needier than others. That's what I'll say. There's people that are resourceful, like that are, and when you're hosting, you have to remember it's not just you. Like in our events, we have 170 people in one of the ones coming up that we're doing. So there's Kelsey in the inbox and then 170 of you guys. So even if you're asking like, one or two questions or one question a week, if everybody is doing that, it's a ton of extra work. So we really for that too. That's a good point.
The other thing I look at, so I don't typically look at like list size or whatever. Like you could be small, maybe you're just starting in online, but you've been doing that expertise for a decade. Like that's fine. So I don't like have any list requirements, but I will if you don't look actually established on your website, if there's like anything that's you're like, well, that was part of the template you didn't update, or you don't have your legal pages set up, like you're not gonna pass. You're not gonna get picked because it's not that you have a small list or it's that I can't tell that you have this expertise looking at your site.
Yeah, pitch something exciting, right? Like a lot of times people will apply with like just boring stuff. And I'm like, I don't want like this is not exciting to me. It's not exciting to them. Like, or make your event. I'm always like trying to make the most when I'm pitching, I'm always trying to make like the most sassy sounding workshop and like the most exciting like workshop name I can think of, right? But that kind of stuff matters like when you're pitching, right? Because if it has a boring title and a boring name and a boring graphic, like whatever,
Yeah.
when you send it in, we're just kind of like, but if you spend extra time on that stuff, I think that can make a big difference too.
I like to urge like contributors and collaborators and speakers and those type of things to think of the events that I host not as mine but as ours.
Hmm.
So I think that if you change that narrative or that mindset from it's someone else's thing and you approach it everything as if it were yours as well, you would put in a little bit more. And this is what I like. Like I will not apply for something if I do not know that I will be able to do this as well as what I would have done my own and put in everything that I would have. And I think communication there is also then, it's important, but really to think about it and not just like, especially with the amount of bundles and things that's coming out now. Like people are applying for 2, 3, 4 a month, and it's like, no, just hang on, really hone down and be like, if you approach this, even the application form as something like, if I were the host, what would I have wanted in this? What, would this like? It's like you said, the non-boring things, those type of things. If you approach it a little bit differently and see it as our thing and not her thing, then I think you will have a
Yeah,
little
I
bit of
get
a
what you're
better
saying.
chance.
I think,
Yeah.
and I try to do this as a speaker too, and I really appreciate it when people do it in my events.
Mm.
But if I'm speaking, I'll like go in the Facebook group and be like, "Oh my gosh, the event's so
Yes.
amazing! Like, I can't believe about the speaker list, and like this is going to be so great." And
Yeah.
after the event and during the event, I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, like this is such an amazing event!" Just hyping it
Yeah.
up, right? And we really notice when people do that for our events. And like we're saying,
Mm-hmm.
like once you get into one, you want to get invited back to that one. But
Mm-hmm.
like I also have people ask me all the time, like I'm doing a summit on this. Like, do you know anybody? And if we've worked with someone that I'm like is great, right? That makes like Instagram reels every time, or always like does great emails, or always is tagging me on social media. Like
Mm-hmm.
those are the people that are going to come to my mind about like, oh, like
Yeah.
this person was in ours. She was like great to work with. She would be perfect, right? But if you're just
Mm-hmm.
doing the bare minimum, like you're not going to get those
Yes.
referrals, and it does
Exactly.
become kind of a community, right? It's kind of
Yeah.
like there's only so many people hosting the events and like they do ask each other. So I
Yes.
think that's a good thing to keep in mind as
Hmm.
well.
I completely agree with that. We have so many like great referrals or referrals,
Mhm.
testimonials from people who have participated in our bundles. I haven't hosted summits yet. I will be next year. Spoiler alert. But
Yay.
um like and people look at that too when they're trying to figure out what they want to participate in. And I have one other one to share, and I think this is very obvious, but
Yeah.
people don't do it, is promoting the actual
Oh,
event per the instructions. So if it says send an email, you actually have to send that email. Like
yes,
we notice when you're not doing that,
we
and you're
do.
not coming back in the
Yeah.
future if you don't do that.
We had to
Yeah.
change our policy because so many people were doing that, and it was so unfair to the people that were in there. Because I'm like,
Yep.
all you're doing is being a leech when you're doing that. Like, because
Yep.
you're in there getting email subscribers from everyone else who's working, and you're just leeching off of my work and the community's work. And so that stuff does not fly with me. And we had changed our policies because of it. So on ours, it's like you have to promote the wait list. And if you don't forward that wait list email, we pull your stuff off the page. I'm like, you're not
Right.
going in the thing. Like, it really is like offensive. I think people think like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's just one email.
Yes.
But when you're organizing this stuff and there's so many other people participating, it really is like a bad look. Now, sometimes things happen and like whatever, that's different. But when we're emailing you, being like, we haven't gotten your promo, like you haven't sent your email, like we need you to send your
Mhm.
email, and you're ghosting us, and like we never hear from you, like it's just a really, really bad look.
Don't ghost the host. That's something that I don't ghost the host. Like, don't communicate. And I think integrity is big here, right? And you only get to know people's integrity by seeing what they're doing, by connecting, by, building those relationships. So some people you will know they will not do this. And, they will absolutely. So if everybody just does the bare minimum, the results overall collectively will be bare minimum results, right? And we are all collaborating on this. We all put in effort. We respect each other's time and we respect each other's effort and, genius, and we are all making this. And this is what I'm saying, if you come with that mindset of this is our thing and not just mine, you will put in what it is. You will put in not just that bare minimum. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. What other final tips do we have for them? I think hosting your own event is great. Follow the rules. Just do what you're supposed to do. Come up with like some little ways to start collaborating and meeting people if you don't have a network yet. Like we all started like not knowing anybody either.
Mhm.
Like nobody
Mhm.
comes in having a huge network. You just have to build it up over time and figure out your own ways of meeting people. What else? What other final tips should we leave them with? Words of wisdom.
I mean,
I
pitching
think
yourself is the most important. Sorry, Liz.
no, you go
Pitch,
first.
You go.
pitching yourself, pitching yourself, podcasts, pitch yourself to any podcast available. Pitch yourself. And this is, again, this is my PR background coming in, but like
Yeah.
newspapers, people still read those things. Like
Yeah.
on like Wall Street Journal, right? Like there's so many ways that you can get your business out there. Like, for example, if you get one article in the Wall Street Journal,
I have
great.
a
That's
friend of mine
amazing.
that was like featured in a newspaper and then it got picked up by Good Morning America and she got to be on Good Morning America. Like it was like,
Exactly.
I was like, what is happening? So you never know where that stuff leads. And the other thing I was going to tell you guys that I forgot is like one of my mastermind members this year did a challenge where it's the 100 no challenge. So she's pitching herself and like literally keeping track to get to 100 no's for the year. And
Love that.
so when you're in entrepreneurship and you're doing stuff like this and you're putting yourself out there, like no doesn't mean like you're a loser and you suck. It means like you're in the game. Like welcome to the game, right? We've all
It's
been
rite of
rejected. I'm
passage.
sure we could all tell you some brutal rejection
Yeah.
stories, right? Like it's just is what it is. It happens to all of us. It's not personal. Like just keep, and then you just get up and you just get as many no's as you can. So I think that's great advice. Like pitch
Mhm.
yourself, like put your stuff
Yeah.
out there.
Follow up.
Yep.
Follow up on those pitches
Ooh.
until you actually get your no or your yes. I
Mhm.
will literally like, especially when early days of the summit when I was having to do a lot more pitching than I am now, I would literally follow up. I was like, I finally, after I follow up the 2 or 3 times, I would finally be like, look, I'm going to keep following up till I get a definitive answer. So if the answer is no, that's fine, but could you say so?
Tell me. Yeah. That's actually
That's a
funny.
good one. That's a really,
I
really
did the other way around. Like I do 3 follow-ups and then I'm like at the third one say, listen, I won't keep bothering you. I will, but I won't. But that's good. I should stop doing that. I should keep following up.
but
Thank you for that.
a lot of times they won't respond right to the
They
first one.
won't.
I'm sure all of you guys have gotten people that have like
Yeah.
on the third one, like
They
that's
keep
when they
busy.
say yes. So don't think because you sent one email, you're done. Like you keep following up with them. That's a really good point too. This happens with us all the time because like if I'm launching or we have a bunch of stuff going on, like the inbox is especially for
Yeah.
pitches and stuff, like the
Mhm.
inbox with clients and customers is like always a priority, right? But the inbox with like just planning and collaborations, that kind of stuff, I'll let that stuff pile up sometimes. So
Yeah.
it doesn't mean like I'm like no, a lot of times it just means I haven't read your pitch yet.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
So if you're like me, like I have ADHD too, right? I appreciate the follow-up.
Yeah, I'm still getting emails every couple of days from like the pitch I sent out over a month ago, and I'm like, well, my list is finalized now. Sorry, but
Yeah.
Like, the time has
Too
passed.
late. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point though, right? It doesn't, if some people don't reply to you, it doesn't mean they don't want to. It could be they just haven't gotten around to reading their
it's
email.
something going on. We're all busy, you know. I think a lot of us sometimes are managing the inbox by ourselves. Sometimes you don't even have a VA, or sometimes you only have one VA. And yeah, you got to prioritize the customers
Mm.
versus the launch versus things like that. So
Mhm.
following up and making sure. The other two tips I was going to say earlier was if you are hosting something, it is super helpful to the people participating if you send them a copy of what they submitted.
Yes.
Because I cannot tell you how many times I've been like, what did I say I was going to do? I now have a system on the flip side when I do submit stuff that I have like a form in my project management that I fill out what I submitted, what the requirements are, I attach the contract, things
That's
like
a
this.
good tip for both sides, right? So
So
it's
it's
like if you're
all in one
hosting,
place,
send
but
them a
it's
copy. And if you're
but
submitting,
it's
write your shit down.
yeah.
Like both.
Yeah. So that those are the two things I was like, they're kind of two sides of the coin, but it is so helpful to just be like, here's an automated copy of the form you submitted. Almost every single form, platform, software, whatever, has that capability. It's a checkbox. It's something simple that you need to do.
It is
But it is
hard to keep
hugely
track
helpful.
of. And we have a whole system too for like tracking all the stuff I've submitted and stuff that's due and everything. But sometimes stuff just like falls through the cracks, right? And like I said, like I have ADHD. I'm also doing a billion things. Sometimes I'll submit stuff and think I like updated the form and I'll forget. So I agree. It is really helpful. Like even when you're organized, sometimes that stuff just I don't know. It doesn't make it into the Airtable. I'm sorry, my poor team. They're like, put it in the Airtable.
For
I'm
our
sorry,
bundles,
Kayla. I'm sorry.
we have a portal for each of our contributors that says all of their stuff. So it's like everything they've submitted when they said they're promoting. So all they have to do is click a link and they have access to all of it.
That's really
Because yeah. And that was kind of like my whole thing. And Jeannie, I know we're going to talk about this at your summit, but it's like really making sure that it's a next level experience for the buyers and for the contributors. Like making it as easy as possible all around is the most important part, especially as a host. Because if it's hard and it's confusing, people aren't going to promote you and then they're not going to want to come back to participate.
So you're coming back to that simplification part, right? Not necessarily for you as the host, it makes more work, but making
Well,
that.
now it is because we have the system.
Yes,
Initially,
well, I mean, the first time, yeah, of course, yeah, because we just keep doing this. We just keep reusing, right? So, but yes,
yeah,
absolutely, simplification for the people.
That's a pet peeve of mine when they provide me all the swipe copy or whatever and they reference graphics, but then there isn't really a graphic they provided that fits it.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, stuff like simple stuff like that. It does help, right? Like putting the graphics that are supposed to be, just put it in the email. Like, that kind of stuff. It does help. So let's go around one more time. Thank you guys so much for taking the time and being here. This was a great discussion. Go around one more time and tell everybody one more time who you are, what you do, and where we can find you online.
So my name's Steph Blake. You can find me at theblakecollective.com. That's where you can find my membership, my software, my shop in a couple days. And my free resource is the Simple Business Workshop. So that'll, again, show you how to run a really simple and streamlined business in 20 hours per week or less.
Nice. Awesome. Liz, what about you?
Yeah, I'm Liz Stapleton. You can find me at bloggerbreakthrough.com and elizabethstapleton.com. One is for my summit, one is for the legal side of things because who only has one website?
Let's talk about that for a second.
I have like 5
I have tons of goodies for you. If you go to bloggerbreakthrough.com/everything, you'll see my freebies for the blogging side of things. You'll also see links to freebies for the legal side of things. So it's all kind of on that page.
Nice. Awesome. And Yanita, what about you?
Yes, well, I have to now say my surname because my name is Janita Valschinger, and you can find me at janitavalschinger.com. Also on the net, you can find me as Janita Business Coach. I've got an amazing Facebook group that is called the Multi-Passionate Entrepreneurs Hub. It's my favorite place to hang out. And yes, I would love to give you a lead magnet starter kit to get you building that email list that will be so great for your business, make such a difference.
Awesome. We'll put all the links for their stuff in the notes for you guys. And then I'm Faith Mariah. You can find me at I go to faithmariahevents.com. This is where you should go since we're talking about collabs. So go to faithmariahevents.com because we're always recruiting because we do at least one, sometimes two events a quarter. So we literally just roll in from like one recruitment period to the next. So if you go to faithmariahevents.com, you'll be able to find whatever we're currently recruiting for. And like I said, we do some business events, but right now I'm really working with my students to help them grow their email list. So we're doing a lot of B2C bundles where I'm looking for relationship coaches, I'm looking for health and fitness people, I'm looking for DIY. If you've got good stuff, apply. We would love to feature you and we'll send some email subscribers your way. And that's a good way to start. That's a good way to start collabing. Come to my events. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. It's really an honor to like that you guys took the time to be here, and I just really do appreciate all of you so much for being here and helping me make the show awesome. Thank you guys, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, everybody.